What if I could show you a way by which you could increase your profits without having to generate any additional traffic and without any additional cost? Would you be interested? Would you want to know more? Well, I'm pretty sure you would as a marketer, because increasing your profits without spending any extra money, that's the dream of most marketers. Now, this entire program is about how you can increase your profits from your existing websites and from any new websites you create without having to generate any traffic. If you've got 20 or 50 or 100 visitors a day, I'm going to show you how you can increase your profits from them. Possibly double them, maybe quadruple them, maybe even more than that. It's very, very simple. We're going to go through a lot of information, and I think you're going to be quite stunned when you realise exactly what you're going to learn in this video series. So what we're going to talk about is something called conversion rate. Now, before you think, oh well, hang on, we're going into currency trading, we're not. It's nothing to do with currency. Conversion rates are basically how many visitors it takes you to get a buyer. Now, if you get one buyer or one AdSense click or whatever it might be every 100 visitors, then it's going to take you 100 visitors before you make any money, theoretically. So if you get 10 visitors a day, that means once every 10 days you may sell something. If you get 100 visitors a day, that means every day you might sell something. But what if instead of 1 in 100 buying, it was 2 in 100? If 2 in 100 bought, you've suddenly doubled your profits. So you can see this is a very, very important concept for you to understand. It's actually a statistic that very, very few marketers know. It's quite sad, really, how few marketers understand conversion rates properly. There's very few that do. The whole point is that you understand your conversion rate, because if you know your conversion rate, then you can increase it and you can work to make it better, and you can increase the amount of money you earn. This can seriously make the difference between you having a little bit of a hobby online and having a full-time business. It really, really is that important. And that's why we're going to labour this point a lot throughout this video series, because I want you to really, really understand the importance of conversion rates. It's actually, to be perfectly truthful, one of the big secrets of the guru level marketers, the really big marketers, the people that are making full-time incomes. They know all about conversion rates, and they work, pretty much they have OCD about improving their conversion rate. They really, really do, because they know they can maximize their income. If I've got a site that's earning me $1,000 a month, say, okay, and I work to improve my conversion rate from 0.5% to 1%, for example, I've doubled it, so that's now $2,000. Get it up to 2%, that's $4,000. For many people, that's enough to live on every single month. So you can see that there's a real big potential here with this. So what you're going to learn throughout this video series is how to increase your income simply by improving your conversion rate. We're going to look at a lot of different aspects of your sales letters and your business and how you can improve it. There's many different areas that you need to improve your conversion rate, and one of the big ones is, of course, sales letters. People want to know how to improve their sales letter conversion rate, because it's very important. If your sales letter is making one sale a week, that's great, but what if you could make it 1 a day, or 2 a day, or 3 a day? What if you could improve the conversion rate even more? And we're going to talk about that, because it can make a huge difference to your business. We're going to talk about improving AdSense conversion rates as well. Many of you may be experiencing very low click-through rates. We're going to discuss those as well, how you can make them better. We're also going to talk about CPA conversions. CPA is a very popular subject at the moment. A lot of people are dabbling with it. A lot of people want to know more. So we're going to talk about how you can improve those conversion rates as well. We're going to talk as well about affiliate marketing. And there's a lot of people out there that do affiliate marketing, and many people get into this as the first thing they do on internet marketing. So we're going to talk about how you can get a higher conversion rate on your affiliate marketing sales. And of course, list building, something very, very important to a lot of people. Of course, if you make a lot of money from your list, we're going to talk about how to get more people to sign up to your list, improve your conversion rate there as well, which of course is going to be very, very important to you. We're also going to talk about testing and tracking. Testing and tracking is one of the fundamental cornerstones of the whole conversion rate increasing process. So we're going to talk about that as well, just so you really understand it and understand how to do some testing and tracking. We're not going to get technical, too complex. I'll point you in the right direction for that. We're going to talk about simple stuff that anyone can do, no matter how technically competent or incompetent they are. And we're going to talk as well about monitoring your conversion rate, so you can keep an eye on it and make sure that you are fully aware of what it is for all your sites. And then what you can do then, obviously once you're aware of it, is you can work to improve it. So we're going to cover a lot of information. We're going to talk a lot about conversion rates, and I think by the end of this course you're going to be a convert to conversion rates when you realise just how much money you can make from these just these simple changes and improving your conversion rate. As I said earlier on, and I'm going to say this many times, this one thing, these conversion rates, could make the difference between you having a bit of a hobby online and you having a full-time business. It really can. It's that important to you. So please pay attention as we go through this. Apply what you're going to learn and make sure that you use this knowledge, because if you improve your conversion rates, you can massively increase your income. It's not unknown for people to double or even quadruple their income just by improving their conversion rates, and you could get the same results too. Before we go any further, let's just stop and think about conversion rates for a moment. Now, say your website is converting at 0.5%. Might be more, might be less, but let's say 0.5%. If you increase that conversion rate to 1%, you've instantly doubled your profits without spending any more money on advertising or driving traffic. If I then double it again to say 2%, I've quadrupled my profits. That's not unfeasible. You can seriously expect, a 2% conversion rate. You could get there. You could even get up to 4%, in which case you multiplied your profits by 8%. If I double my traffic as well, if I increase my traffic levels, then what have I done? My profits can go absolutely crazy. If I increase my conversion rate from 0.5% to 4% and double my traffic, I've increased my profits effectively by 16 times. So my website that was earning me $100 a month is suddenly earning me $1,600 a month. Conversion rates are very important. You see, what most people do is they create a website, they throw it up there, drive a bit of traffic, go, yeah, that'll do, and move on. Now, if you're doing that, you're leaving money on the table. If you spend a little bit of time tweaking your website, you can actually turn each website into a full-time income. It really is. Now, the conversion rate is basically how many buyers it takes to get a sale or action, whatever it is. If you want an AdSense clicker, a CPA sale, a product sale, an autoresponder sign up, whatever it might be. It's how many people it takes to come to your website before you get a buyer, basically. It's usually measured in a percentage. So that's why we've talked about percentages. It's, 0.5% means 1 in every 200 visitors buys from you, basically. 1% means 1 in 100 buy from you. So if you're getting 100 visitors a week, you can expect 1 buyer a week if your conversion rate is 1%. If you're getting 100 visitors a day, you can expect 1 a day. So you can see how this all works. What you will find is what we call a plateau. It's a point basically where you can't improve your conversion rate anymore. You can work and get it to so high, but you can only ever get so high. You will never ever get 100%. And to be honest with internet marketing, you may, depending on what you're doing with some CPA offers and AdSense, you may get click-through rates, conversion rates as high as 20 or 30%, but you're not going to get a massive number. Don't aim for 100. You're not going to get there. Get it up to a point where it's doing well and you can't improve it anymore, and just leave it there. That's all you need to do. There's always going to be people that are coming along to kick tires and just have a look. There will always be that. So remember, you're never ever going to get 100% conversion rate. You're probably never going to get far beyond 50, and depending on what you're doing, sales letter, if you get 5%, that's considered outstanding. AdSense 20 to 30%, that's considered pretty good. So just be aware that yeah, with all this work, you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to say, right, that's enough, that's good enough, let's move on. Now, unfortunately, too many marketers ignore conversion rates. You know, most of us, we're in such a hurry, we want to create those sites, get them out there, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there, and, you know, we don't actually create the sites. You know, it's a real problem if people don't improve the conversion rates. As I showed you previously, you know, if I double my traffic and double my conversion rate, you know, I've taken a $100 a month site up to, say, $400. You know, it's not unheard of for me to be able to take that up to even more. So, you know, a lot of marketers ignore conversion rates because they're in such a hurry to create sites, and they don't think about the fact that if they spend a bit of time improving the conversion rate on every single site they created, they could probably earn an awful lot of money from it. They are really leaving money on the table. You know, my site that's bringing me in $100 a month, you know, if I could bring that up, I could bring that up to $800 by spending a few weeks tweaking and playing with the conversion rate. You know, that suddenly becomes as a major earner instead of, you know, pizza money for the month or something. Wherever your position is now as an internet marketer, if you sat down, looked at your current websites and worked on improving the conversion rates, you could probably significantly increase your income. You really could. It isn't too difficult for you to do. So I just want you to think about that, you know, look at your current websites and see how can you increase your conversion rate on them. Are they performing as best as they could, or could they do better? What we've said this before, and I think it's a very important point. The conversion rate can make the difference between you having a bit of a hobby online and the extra money for pizza and beer and having a full-time income. If you sat down, if you got, you know, 10, 20 websites already, if you sat down and spent some time concentrating on them and making them convert better, you could probably have a full-time income from those websites that you already have. It's, you know, the potential is that significant. So, you know, we've just had to talk about the conversion rates, and now you understand why, you know, the successful marketers, the big name marketers, the gurus, if you like, track their conversion rates. They know their conversion rate for every single site, every offer that they promote, and they track it religiously. It's literally a part of their religion. They are absolutely dogged about it and will always track it. And because of that, they do very well. They're the ones that will test their conversion rates, test new things to try and improve their conversion rate, and sooner or later, you know, they reach a point where they're converting very well. Now, if you spend some time on your conversion rates, you can increase your profits, you can increase your conversions, and it's going to make a huge difference to your online business. It really is. So, you know, bear this in mind, you know, this previous statement. You know, as we're going through this program, I want you to think about the fact that by paying attention to your conversion rates, you could turn your online hobby into a full-time business. So think about it as we go through this. Conversion rates are very important, and you can significantly increase your income just by paying a bit of attention to your conversion rates. Now, when it comes to sales letter conversions, the top marketers watch their conversion rate very closely. They can tell you their conversion rate on pretty much any campaign and how well it's doing for affiliates and joint venture partners, how well the conversion rate is for pay-per-click and so on. Now, it's very important that you understand this figure, because it's going to help you with your advertising. It's going to help you make the most of your money. Now, let's face it, sometime in our internet marketing career, most of us are likely to create some sales letters. We're going to write a sales letter, we're going to start selling our own products. So you're going to need this, okay? So this is one of the things that top marketers do that you can do too. Now, if you have a good conversion rate on your sales letter, then it's going to be a major influencer for joint venture partners and affiliates. So if you can turn around to your joint venture partners or your affiliates and say, I've got a sales letter that converts at 5%, they are going to basically fight amongst themselves to get to promote your product. They are going to be desperate to promote something that sells that well. So it can help you not just obviously make money from organic traffic, but your affiliates and joint venture partners are going to be much happier to take part in the program and promote it for you. So, and basically, I don't think I need to tell you that the higher your conversion rate, the more money you will earn from the product. So very, very important. It's important for affiliates, joint venture partners, and for your bottom line. Now, there's two ways for you to get a high sales letter conversion rate. The first rate is you write great copy yourself. You may be able to do that, you may not. If not, then you need to go and learn how to do it. If you can afford to do it, then hire yourself a great copywriter. They'd be prepared to pay $1,000 plus for a sales letter. If you want to hire one of the best copywriters there are, you're talking at $20,000 to $30,000 for a single sales letter. So, you need to either do it yourself or have the money to hire somebody. You can get reasonable copy written for anywhere between sort of $300 to $1,000. It's reasonable. Great copy, as I said, it's going to cost a lot of money to get written. Now, a lot of people will struggle with writing copy. It's not natural to many of us. Unless we come from a sales background, it's not always easy to write good copy. So it is considered an art form. And honestly, if you can't afford to hire a great copywriter, then the best thing you can do is invest in some copywriting training programs and really get yourself up to speed with writing. If not fantastic copy, decent copy, copy that will convert at 1 to 2% maybe, that's good enough for now. When it comes to improving the conversion rate of a sales letter, you need to change various components and see what effect they have on the conversion rate. Do they make the conversion rate better or do they make it worse? It really, really depends, and the only way to do this is to test it. So you can test things like different headline, different sub-headline, different opening, different PSs. Test having a header graphic against no header graphic. Test the amount of white space at the top of a letter. All of that needs to be tested and much, much more. Now, this can get quite complex, and we're going to talk in the next video about ways of making it easier. But these are all the components you need to consider to change. You want to make one change at a time, and then you want somewhere between 100 and 500 visitors. Basically, the higher the better, because that way it allows you to get a statistical significant sample, which means that basically it's going to be accurate. What you need to do is for every single test you need to have the same figure. So if your first test you do 300 visitors, every test you want roughly 300 visitors, give or take a very small percentage, and you work out the conversion rate for every single test. So each time you drive 300 visitors or 500 visitors, whatever it might be, you calculate the conversion rate for that number of visitors, no others, and that tells you whether your conversion rate has increased or decreased from the change that you've made. Now, if it's increased, you keep that change and make a different change, or try and change it so it's even better. If it's decreased, you put it back to the one it was and change something else, or make another change in an attempt to increase it. So you can see this could take you some time to do. However, it is very, very worthwhile you doing so. It's going to make you an awful lot of money. So once you've made one change, remember you make one change at a time. Once you've made the change, if it improves it, keep it or try and improve it further. If it's worse, try making a different change, try changing it again. It's an iterative process. You're going to keep changing parts again and again and again. You're going to change little bits here, there and everywhere until you can't improve the conversion rate any further, until you got to the absolute top of the conversion rates. Eventually you'll get to a point where you can't improve the conversion rate anymore. That's fine. You may get to a point where you think, well, that's good enough, I can't be bothered spending any more time. That's fine. It's up to you really when you decide not to do it anymore. Now, when it comes to driving traffic to your website, you've got two choices when you're doing the testing: pay-per-click or organic traffic. And now, pay-per-click is obviously faster. You could possibly get your 500 visitors or whatever in a day. However, it's going to cost you money. Organic, obviously, is going to be slower and cheaper. So it's up to you. It depends upon your budget. There is no right or wrong answer. Whatever money you have or however you want to approach it, that's your choice. Pick either one of these. It doesn't matter which one it is. Now, some other tips that you can use to improve your conversion rate. Well, one of them is to offer a discount on an exit splash page. So have one of these pop-ups. You've seen the virtual assistants and all those things. They actually can work quite well, and you can offer a discount there. Now, be aware that if you offer a discount there, that news information will get distributed. People will work it out. So only do that if you're happy to accept that lower price, because a lot of cases you are going to get people who are going to just leave your page and come back in order to get the discount. So be aware of that, please, that's going to happen. So don't offer a discount if you're not happy to sell it at that price. Another way to improve conversion rates is to capture leads. Either have a light box, a slide in, another exit box, whatever it might be. Capture leads from your sales letter. Make sure obviously it captures the affiliate information or joint venture partner information as well, for obvious reasons. And make sure you capture the leads and use those to obviously help yourself through with this. Because once you've got the leads, you can then market to them and maybe set up a training course or something like that, so that basically you can market the product to them and pre-sell them so that they will actually buy it from you. Now, the really good thing about this, of course, is increasing your conversion rate is going to increase your income before you get any other traffic. So if I've got, I don't know, 100 visitors a day to my site and I'm earning some money from that, if I increase my conversion rate, then obviously I can make more sales without having any more traffic. If I increase the traffic as well, then that's just, the cherry on top of the cake. It really, really is. You can get even more income from it. So you've got to start simple by improving the conversion rate. Your conversion rate is going to increase your traffic and your income. And if you keep doing your traffic generation, then you're going to find that your income is going to absolutely explode from that site. So remember, this is very, very important. If you are marketing information products, higher conversion rates is going to make it much, much easier for you to get people promoting your product. If you can tell your affiliates or joint venture partners that, well, I have a 5% conversion rate in this sales letter, they will leap over themselves to promote it, because a lot of sales letters may have 0.5 to 1%. So having a conversion rate like that means they're going to make 5 times as much money. So of course they're going to be very, very interested. So testing and tracking your conversion rate means that you can then go to the marketers and say to them, look, I've got this product, it's converting at this rate, and they're going to come to you and want to basically promote your product. So it's going to help you make even more money, because you're going to get these bigger name marketers and super affiliates and affiliates promoting your product. So it's going to be very, very beneficial to you. But remember, you need to know your sales letter conversion rate. You need to work on improving it. The more you improve your sales letter conversion, the better it's going to be for you, because obviously that means more money into your pocket. So that's what you need to do. So we've got some tips here on how to improve your sales letter conversions. What we're going to do next is look at some software that's going to help make the whole process an awful lot easier for you. In this video, we're going to talk about 2 types of testing that you can use to help you to basically improve the conversion rate of your sales letter. We've talked about the sort of mechanics of it, and what we're going to talk about here is 2 pieces of software, or 2 different types of software that will help you to improve your conversion rates. Now, the first one is some software called split testing. Split testing is also known as A/B testing. It's basically where you test one change against another. So for example, you would split test 2 headlines against each other to see which is the best. Then when you finish a split test, you would then keep the best performing headline and maybe try changing the headline again to see if you can make it even better. So basically it's testing change A against change B to determine the difference in conversion rates. You're trying to find the best converting change. Now, with split testing, you have to keep doing this with different components until the conversion rate stops increasing. So you may try half a dozen headlines until you get a headline that performs really well. Then when you're happy with that headline, you may say, right, okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to try testing the gap at the top. I'm going to try testing the PSs, the subheadline, the call to action, displaying the price, not displaying the price, etc., etc. So you test all of these different components, and you have to keep track of them, of what the conversion rate is, and try and get the best conversion rate you can. With split testing though, you can only test a single change. So I can't test a half a dozen different headlines all at once. Not really. The best way to do it is to test one headline against the second. That's the easiest way to do this to ensure you get accurate results. It can be time consuming, but it is very cheap and easy to do. If you go into Google and type split testing or split testing script, you'll find plenty of different scripts that will do this for you, and that you'll even find some free PHP code that you can use in order to do split testing yourself, so it won't cost you a penny to do. But you can buy software tools, and the software tools will keep track of the results for you quite often, and which is obviously going to be a bit helpful. You can buy the software, but you don't need to. As I said, you can either use some simple PHP code, PHP includes, and then go into AW stats, which we'll talk about later on, and work out your conversion rate from that. Or you can purchase the software. It's up to you. Depends upon your programming skill. Depends upon your budget as well. Software will vary anything from sort of $30–40 upwards, up to sort of $100–150 for really good split testing software. But split testing is a little bit on the slow side. If you really want to do well, you want to use something called multivariate or multivariate testing. Now, this is a very powerful method of testing, and is actually the best form for you to use. If you're going to buy software to do your testing, you want to invest in some good multivariate testing software. Now, this can cost you upwards of $100. I mean, good software, you're talking between $500 and $1,000 for it. But let's face it, if it gets your conversion rate up to 5%, then you know what? It's so worthwhile doing, because it's going to make a massive difference in your income. Basically, the premise of this is what it does is it tests multiple components of a sales letter. So you set up this software up, you give it all the changes that you want, and then it automatically compares them all, works out itself which ones are the best performing combinations, and ultimately, by the time you get several thousand visitors down the line, it has the best performing sales letter for you. So it's absolutely fantastic software for automating the whole split testing of sales page. This is why it's so very good. It almost has a built-in intelligence with it in the way that it performs the comparisons and the tests for you. So it won't just compare change A against change B. It will compare lots and lots of changes all at once, lots and lots of different combinations of changes, and work out which is the best possible set of changes for your sales letter, and it will work out the conversion rate and gradually increase it for you. So it's very powerful in the fact that it does work out the best performing combination of changes. You don't have to sit there and do any calculations. You don't have to work out any conversion rates, look at any traffic stats, anything like that. It works it all out for you. It's absolutely fantastic. As I said, the only downside is the software. It's going to cost you $100 and something to $500 really for the software. But as I said, if you take your conversion rate from 0.5% to sort of 4 or 5% with this, it's paid for itself pretty much in the first use. So very worthwhile investing in and using. But when you're using this, what you need to do is test absolutely everything. Okay, test as many different components as possible, so you get the absolutely best performing sales letter you can. The better your sales letter performs, then obviously the more money you're going to make, and that can make a huge difference to your bottom line at the end of the day. So that's why we want to do it. So remember, test everything you can with this, and you'll see some really good results from it. Now, with sales letters in some niches, you can get conversion rates as high as 5 to 7 or sometimes even higher percent. You can get really good conversion rates. Now, this is a combination of very good copy and a lot of testing. And if you install this testing software and use it, then you will find that you get better conversion rates. You may start off with your first sales letter at 0.5 to 1%, maybe slightly higher. But what you'll find is as you do the multivariate testing, so your conversion rate is going to get higher and higher. And as I said, you can realistically expect sort of 3 to 5%, possibly even higher, with some persistence and some good tests. So you want to, if you're not just going to do some split testing, Yeah, if you really want to do this and you want to do it properly, you have to do the multivariate testing. The more advanced, the more expensive split testing software also does the multivariate testing too. So yeah, you're okay if you get that. But have a look at the software. Type in multivariate testing software or script or something along those lines into Google. You'll find plenty of pieces of software that will do this for you. But as I said, be prepared for quite a high price tag. The software is complex. It gets you very good results. So is actually worth the investment if you're going to be doing lots and lots of sales letters. But you know, this is how you get your conversion rate up high and massively increase your profits. It's multivariate testing. Now in this video we're going to talk about the AdSense click-through rate. Now the click-through rate basically shows you the percentage of people who saw your ad that clicked on it. So a click-through rate of 10% means 10 in 100 people clicked on your advert. Now obviously I think we can say the higher the better, as the more you earn. So one of the goals you have with any AdSense site is to get a high click-through rate. If you can get a high click-through rate, then quite often what you find is you get better payments as well. We are not sure on what formula Google uses, but there seems to be some correlation between click-through rate and how much you get paid. The better the click-through rate, then quite often you get a slightly higher percentage of money from them. Now, to see the click-through rate for any of your sites, you go into your AdSense Management Console. Make sure you've set up URL channels for all of the URLs that you're showing AdSense on, and then you will see the URLs and the clicks and all the statistics. So it'll show you how your click-through rate. So that's basically where you monitor your CTR. You can buy software that will do this if you want to, but you don't need it. You can use the AdSense Management Console. What I have noticed in my experiments is that the CTR will vary significantly from site to site. It will vary from niche to niche. It will vary according to where the adverts are placed. There's so many different variants here. So you need to test on every single site to find the best possible click-through rates. Now you need to ensure that your adverts are relevant before we go any further. One way to get a good conversion rate is to make sure that you have good adverts on your site. Now if your site hasn't got meta tags, so your meta title, your meta description and your meta keywords on, the adverts that it displays are not going to be very relevant. I will tell you that right now for nothing. So you need to go through your website, look at the adverts that are being displayed and check they're relevant. Make sure that you have your meta description, your meta keywords and your meta title on every single page, and that is relevant to the content of that page. When you have more focused adverts, which you will when you've entered your meta tags, then you will get a higher click-through rate because they are relevant to what people are reading, which means that they're more likely to want to click on the adverts. One thing that you really do need to do is test blended adverts against ads that stand out to see which performs best. Typically, blended adverts where they blend into your site and they look like part of the navigation menu, those are the ones that tend to work the best. People will click on them a lot more because they don't stand out as adverts. Unfortunately, with the massive amount of advertising on the internet, far too many people have what we call ad blindness. So basically they do not see adverts. So when they're blended in, they look like part of the site and you get many more people seeing them. You want to test different sizes and placements of adverts. One that works very well is the large rectangle left aligned within the text so the text flows around it. That tends to have a very, very good performance. So have a look at that and try using it. You can also use the AdSense heat map, and we'll have a look at that in a second. But the large rectangle tends to be the best performing one. You can also test having skyscrapers on the side in the menu bar, banners across the top and at the bottom. But remember, you're only allowed 3 AdSense blocks per page. Any more than that and you're in violation of their terms and service. Now the link blocks can also be effective. That's an additional way to get adverts on your page. One thing that can work quite well is under your header graphic to have one of the AdSense link blocks that looks like navigation, so a lot of the time people will actually click on it and then they'll click on one of the adverts and you can earn from that. So that can be very, very effective too. But you need to make sure you are very, very aware of the terms of service when you're testing. If you break the terms of service, that's your problem. Google can quite happily remove your account and all your earnings without question. So be aware of that. So you need to be aware that you can't do anything that draws attention to the adverts. You know, like one of the things people tested was to put images above the adverts that almost pointed down to the adverts. Now that Google doesn't like. It works, but they don't like it. And if they find it, they'll remove your account. So make sure you've read the terms of service first. Now, here's the heat map. You can go and have a look on this on Google if you want. Basically, the darker the shade of orange, the more people focus on that point. So you can see the best place for your content is right in the middle or in the top left below the navigation bar. Those are the good places to have your AdSense ads. So use this as some sort of testing. So I would put my AdSense ads in left-aligned rectangle. Then I'll try a bar, just a banner just below the navigation bar. Then I would try a skyscraper on the left-hand side. If you look at this, I'd also try another banner at the bottom and test the performance there. So, you know, this gives you an idea of where people look. So the darkest orange right in the middle, that's where people's attention is focused. The next lighter shade of orange is also a very popular place to put ads where you get people's eyes drawn to it. Where they've got the white blocks, basically don't bother putting ads there. You can test it by all means, but Google have found in their testing that nobody ever really looks at that area or pays attention to it. So it gives you an idea of where to place your adverts and where people's attention are. So using this, you should be able to draw attention to your adverts without drawing attention to violating the terms of service. You know, remember to blend them in though. Make sure they blend in with your site. That does work a lot better. You're welcome to test it otherwise and see how it goes. But if you do this, then you're going to find that you work well with your AdSense and you're going to improve your click-through rate. It can be quite a slow process because you've got to take it easy, try different adverts and see what works. But if you persist, you can get your click-through rate up, and obviously that's going to massively increase your earnings.